Indeed, in 2012, for the first time since the fall of the Soviet Union, the number of births narrowly overtook the number of deaths in Russia. But since 2016, the birth rate has been in decline. While experts say that economic difficulties are stopping many from having children, I spoke to one family who say that having 5 kids hasn't changed much.
Natalia Bulichova and her husband are raising 5 boys between 1 and 20. The 3 youngest live with them, while the older 2 are already studying away from home. Natalia says having a large family was a natural and easy choice for them.
When we had our 3rd child, we realized that a large family is not so scary or difficult. So we had our 4th and 5th children. While we have time, while we're still young, we are trying to make the most out of life.
After having their 3rd child in 2007, they qualified for a number of benefits, such as free land on which they built their summer house, subsidies for an apartment in Moscow, and free parking. Natalia says they do not struggle financially, but they've had to cut down on things such as holidays. She says she doesn't see finances as an obstacle to having a large family.
Having the next child doesn't depend on having enough money for him. Children will come anyway. Financial issues are not the most important for a large family. It's more of a social issue. If there's love in the family, it's not important if you have a house, money or a car.
However, having a large family in Russia is still unusual. The Bulichovs are one in just 120,000 families in Moscow to have 3 or more children. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia's population shrank by up to 700,000 people a year. Russia was facing a demographic crisis, which forced the government to take measures, including giving large chunks of money to parents on the birth of their 2nd child. In 2014-2015, the birth rate was the highest ever recorded in Russia. But this year, the number of births has sharply declined. Many young families are afraid of having children because of the cost.
An economic crisis in Russia or any changes in the socio-economic situation have an impact on the demographic situation. The last 2 so-called demographic holes show that the crisis of the 90s and the crisis of 2010 coincide with demographic waves.
The government's support for families with children has been cut in recent years, and many benefits that were available to the Bulichov family are no longer there. Experts agree that ensuring economic stability would in turn see population growth in Russia. Julia Lyubova, CGTN, Moscow.